Hi, hello everyone. So today we're going to discuss this important question from Lead Code. It is LC Medium, Lead Code number 417, Pacific Atlantic Water Flow. It is an Amazon interview question. And so let's dive right into it with explaining the question first. So given an m cross n matrix of non-negative integers representing the height of each unit cell in a continent. Now the important part is that you have to notice non-negative integers, right? The Pacific Ocean touches the left and top edges of the matrix, and the Atlantic Ocean touches the right and bottom edges. So this Pacific Ocean, as you can see in the diagram, this touches this and this, which is top and left, and Atlantic Ocean is top and right, or bottom and right. All right. So water can flow only in four directions: up, down, left, or right, from a cell to another one with height equal to or lower. Find the list of grid coordinates where water can flow to both the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. So one of the key features of this question is that people generally find it hard to understand the question statement because it's stated a bit vaguely, and the test case is also quite hard to understand. The first part of this video is going to explain the question itself, what the question is asking and what the problem statement means, along with the explanation of the test case given. The second part will be about the approach that we need to use to solve this question, and the third part is going to be actually the code walkthrough. So if you're clear with the question and the explanation of the test cases, you can directly jump to the approach part. Okay, so this is what is given in the question, the matrix given in the question. So first we're going to start noticing few things, that this entire row and this entire column is Pacific, this entire column and this entire row is Atlantic. So that means, first of all, you have to mark the cells that are reachable from Pacific. So can I say that this entire row and this entire column is directly reachable from Pacific, because this is reachable like this and this is reachable like this. Okay. Similarly, can I also say that this entire column and this entire row is reachable by the Atlantic like this and like this. So first of all, we notice that no matter what the values in the matrix, this cell and this cell are always reachable, right? Because you can see that this is where the colors are intersecting, so these cells must always be reachable. So now let's move ahead to judge other values, right? So what is given in the question is that the water can flow from lower to greater or equal to, but not vice versa. From greater it cannot flow to lower. So now let's start marking the values reachable from the Pacific, right? So this is reachable. So can it go to 2? Yes, it can. Can it go to 3? Yes, it can. So first let me just traverse in one direction. So 2, 3 and 5 it reaches. It was directly reachable as well, but from 1 it can go to 2. From 2 it can go to 2 because it's equal. 3 is greater than 2, so it can reach. And 5 is greater than 3, so it can also reach there. Now 1 can go to 3, of course, because 3 is greater than 1. From 3 can it go to 2? No. From 3 can it go to 2? No. From 2 can it go to 2? Yes. From 2 can it go to 4? Yes. From 2 can it go to 7? Yes. For this cell it is reachable like this also and like this also, so yes, this is reachable. From 3 can it go to 4? Yes. This also, right? From 3 can it go to 5? Yes. From 5 can it go to 1? No. From 5 can it go to 3? No. From 4 can it go to 3? No. From 5 can it go to 4? No. But from this 4, it can go to this 4. So this is marked. So can it go to 1? No. So this is where these are all the cells from the Pacific Ocean from the top. Alright. Now let's talk about this. So it goes to 2, it goes to 6 and it goes to 5. From 5 can it go to 1? No. From 6 can it go to 7? Yes, but this is already marked. And from 7 to 1? No, it can't. So these are all the cells finally reached by the Pacific Ocean. Now let's talk about the Atlantic Ocean. So for the Atlantic Ocean, let's start with this. It can reach 5. From 5, can it go to 6? Yes. From 6, can it go to 2? No. From 6, can it go to 7? Yes. From 1, it can reach 1. From 1 also 7. 7 is already marked. For 1. From 1, can it go to 1? Yes, it's equal. From 1, can it go to 5? Yes, because it's greater. 5, it cannot go further, right? So from now let's go ahead. From 1 it can go to 4 also. It can also reach 2 directly. From 2 to 4. Can it go from 4 to 3? No, it can't, because 3 is less than 4, right? So can it will reach 5, it will reach 4. From 4 can it go to 5? Yes, it can. From 5 can it go to 1? No, it can't. Now from this side, right? So this is also reachable, because it's reachable like this. This is also reachable, and this is also reachable. From 4 can it go to 4? Yes, because it's equal. So now if you're noticing the intersection points, I should mark the intersection points where both, so this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, this and this, these are all the reachable ones upon satisfying this condition, right? And in the original matrix, as you can see, these were the, now focus only on these cells. I'm going to rub the others, right? So these were the only ones that were marked as circle, that means they were reachable. The others were not marked circle, that means we have traversed it correctly, right? So if you must have noticed, the approach that we've taken is of DFS, right? How? So from each cell, we've checked on all 4 directions whether the next cell is reachable or not, right? Similarly, for any particular cell, the same approach can be taken. From any cell we mark like this. So our traversal will start from the first row and the last row, and then from the first column to the last column, right? And there have to be checks. The following checks need to be made. The first check is, of course, out of bound. Now what does this mean? Now this means that the value we are checking, I and j, should be in the matrix, right? It cannot be here, it cannot be here, it cannot be here, it cannot be here, because this makes no sense, because out of the matrix there can be no value, right? Second check has to be whether it can move from a particular cell to the next cell or not, which is this check. If this is not true, we will simply return. The third check is the more important one. So consider, suppose you're here. Now what are the DFS calls for 1? 4, 1, 7 and 5. Okay. So suppose in one's DFS call, you've reached this 4. Now 4's DFS call is back to 1, to 3, to 5 and 2. But if I have reached here, that means I will again call to 4, and this process will go on. That means we do not have to repeat this process. Once we've reached a value, we should not traverse ahead, right? So to keep a check of this, we'll start marking this as something, okay, so that when we reach this cell again, we don't traverse it again. So now this is the basic approach. Now actually discuss how we're going to implement this approach. So we're going to take 2 auxiliary matrices, right? Now what these matrices are going to store, let's name this matrix as P, let's name this matrix as A. These matrices are going to store the position of cells that are reachable from the Atlantic Ocean and from the Pacific Ocean. P is going to store for the Pacific and A is going to store for the Atlantic, right? So, and later on we'll check if the values in both of them is same, that is the value in the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean is same, and that particular cell for which we are checking is reachable from both. Suppose we're taking this cell and this cell in the Pacific Ocean, and let's say these 3 cells in the Atlantic Ocean. So these 2 cells are reachable from Pacific, and these 2 cells are also reachable from Atlantic. So these 2 will be included in the answer, while this cell and this cell will not be included in the answer because it's reachable only by 1. Alright. So how we'll do this? So for both P and A, we'll mark all the values as 0. And for each reachable value, we'll mark it as -1. Why -1? Particularly -1 because the question is given non-negative integers, right? So if we take any other value between 0 to int max, it is possible that it was there in this matrix as well, and when we check for the value, that might create an anomaly. All right, this will be more clear when we get down to the coding part. So without wasting any time, let's start coding this problem. All right, so let's just start. Now we already know what the approach we're going to take, which is DFS. Let's get into the code part. So we write down a function void DFS, and it takes the following parameters. First of all, it takes the original matrix that is given to us. So let me just copy this. Right. So this is the matrix that was originally given to us in the question. It needs a row, which is the current row. It needs a column, which is the current column which we are traversing. It needs the previous value of the matrix, so that we have to judge whether water can flow in the current row or the current column or not based upon the previous value, right? And it should also take a vector of vector to denote with to judge whether we are in the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean vector. So as discussed in the approach, we're going to take the following, that we need two vectors, and wherever the values are going to be equal, we're going to take that, right? So let me just copy this again. Okay, yeah, I just copied it wrong, sorry. And I'm going to name it as ocean. Okay. So let's get right. So first check in DFS is always about checking whether or not are we going out of bound of the given matrix. So if I is less than 0 or column is less than 0 or row is greater than equal to matrix dot size, okay, or column is greater than equal to matrix 0 dot size. Okay. So what does this mean is that simply checking the bounds. So this means that it should not go out of the number of rows that are available in the matrix. This is for number of columns, and this again for number of columns should not be less than 0, and I should also, so this has to be row. That number of row should also not be less than 0. That is, our current row and column should not be the out of the bound of matrix. If this happens, then we simply return. Next up, we have to check in which condition can the water flow into it. So we'll do the exact opposite of it. We'll check if we hit a condition where this cannot be done, we'll return. All right, so we'll write matrix of row and column, that is the current cell that we're traversing. If it is less than the previous one, then the water cannot flow into it, so we return. Next up is checking if we've revisited any node. That is, from one node, if we've gone to the second state and then we're coming back to it from the DFS call, we should not traverse it again, right? So we should return in that case as well. So if again this, I'll just copy this again. So if matrix of row or column is equal to -1. Now why -1? -1 is specifically chosen because it's non-negative integers, right? So if I would have chosen another some integer which was already available in the matrix, we could have hit a case where it's already available in the matrix, and that would render our test cases wrong, because it could go directly from 0 to int max. So only safe value is -1, right? So I've taken that, and if this happens, then I'll also return. Now here comes the beautiful part which I love the most. Actually this has to be ocean, because we're judging for the ocean, right? Sorry, my fault. Now this is the beautiful part. So first of all, I'll set this row and column of the ocean as -1. Now given that now this is visited, now the beautiful part is I'll just simply blindly call DFS in all 4 directions. So the parameters it's going to take is matrix, it's going to take row, column, previous. Now what is the previous value? Previous value will be the current matrix row and column, and finally the ocean array as well. Now currently I have sent the same row and column. Now I'll change this Now according to the DFS calls, I have to make 4 DFS calls, so I'm going to copy it 4 times. All right, this is kind of bizarre. All right, so once this is done, I have to make 4 calls. How? So first of all, I have to increment the row without incrementing the column. Next up, I have to decrement the row. This is column right above, this was column right below, and next up is the right column, which is +1. This has to be -1. That's it. This is the DFS function. That is it. How does this work is that whenever we'll hit an invalid case, it will just come back to it, right? Because of the checks that we've applied over here, right? So let's get into the main function or the solution, the specific Atlantic function, right? So first of all, what I need is to return a vector of vector, right? So I'll just write vector of vector int and answer, and this is going to be my final vector. The first base case is if matrix dot size equal to 0, I'll simply return this answer because it's an empty matrix and we can't do anything, so I'll return answer. Okay, next up is I have to initialize another vector of the size same as this, right? Because for ocean I need 2 vectors, which is ocean. I have to send Pacific and Atlantic, so I'm going to copy this, and you see that I'm going to initialize it with the size same as this one, same as the matrix given us in the question, because that is the same matrix we need of vector int. Let's name it at Pacific. Okay, its size has to be matrix dot size. This is the number of rows. For number of columns, I'm going to write vector of int matrix 0 dot size and I'll initialize the value as 0 for each. So this is initialized my Pacific vector, and this similarly I also want an Atlantic vector because I need to check where the both values are equal, and that is where I have to return, right? So I'm going to take this also, and I'm going to change the name to Atlantic. We'll just put it out of caps so that it's easy to. Okay. So Atlantic. Now this is initialized 2 vectors. Now the important part comes for int I equal to 0. Let me name it column equal to 0, column less than matrix 0 dot size. This is the number of columns in the given matrix, and plus column. Alright, now I have to call the DFS function. DFS function for the first is of course matrix. Next is, now this I am calling for columns. Which column? This first row and this last row. Okay, so this is for which I am calling. So for Pacific, the first row is 0, so I'm going to send 0, and I'm going to send column for each value. Alright, and I will send the value int min as the previous. This is because for each value in the first row it is reachable, so the previous value is int minimum because it is not specified anywhere. I'm going to send int minimum along with Pacific. Alright, so and I have to make a similar DFS call for Atlantic as well. But for Atlantic, now this was for the first row, this is going to be for the last row. And what is the last row? Last row is simply matrix dot size -1, but the rest of the parameters remain same. I have to make a similar call for the rows, so I'm going to write for int row equal to 0, row less than, how many times I have to go for this? I have to go matrix dot size and row plus. Alright, I have to make similar DFS calls, so I'm just going to copy this and edit it here. Command C, Okay, this time I'm going to send the static one is going to be this one row, and this has to go as 0 because it's this, because of this, right? Now this is the first column, right? This is the 0th column, and for each row. Similarly here, I'm not gonna send this time column, right? I'm gonna send matrix dot size -1 and row. Actually matrix 0 dot size, 0 dot size. Okay, and also I have to change this to Atlantic, and this again Atlantic. Okay, so this what this is, the row. The row is gonna iterate this each row, and for each row I have sent this same column, this last column, actually this column, but for understanding we'll say it's this column. So what will this return? This will get us Pacific and Atlantic set as -1 or 0. Since I've set the value 0, so it's either going to be 0 or -1. -1 if it's reachable, and 0 if it's not reachable. Okay, so now the final step comes in where I just have to create my answer. So let's take a vector int v. Okay, this is going to be storing the coordinates, and then I'll push those coordinates into the answer vector. So for int I equal to 0, I less than matrix dot size plus I, and for int j equal to 0, j less than matrix 0 dot size matrix 0 dot size plus j, right? Now what I'm going to do, if Pacific of I comma j is equal to -1, this means that this is set, and then Pacific of I comma j is equal to Atlantic of I comma j. That means if one is -1 and the other is equal, that means both are set. So that means this is the valid. So first I'm going to do v dot clear, because it might have been set from some previous iteration. I'm going to do v dot push I and v dot push back, push back j, push back I and push back j, and finally answer dot push back this v. All right, and finally here I'm gonna return my answer. So this is the entire code for it. Let's try and check for any run, if there's any error that I've made, any mistake. Okay, so this works, and let's try and submitting it. Yeah, so I made this small error here where it's supposed to be greater than equal to, and I had written greater than minus. So I just fixed this, and then now I submit again. So as you can see, yes, this passes all the test cases perfectly. It gets submitted, which is nice, which is great, I think. Yeah, so I hope you like this code walkthrough, and once again I should go through the explanation of the code. So first of all, what we did was initialize an answer matrix, then we check if it's a valid matrix, and then we initialize two equal matrices, Pacific and Atlantic, with 0 values. And now we run a defis call for the first row in the Pacific and for the last row in the Atlantic, and we check what all cells are reachable directly from this, and we do that. And then we run a defis call for the first column and the last column for Pacific and Atlantic respectively. And how this defis call works, we check first of all if it's going out of bound, we return. We check if it is a greater value to the previous, then also we return, or if it's already set, otherwise we set this value and then call the defis function in all 4 directions for below, up, right and left respectively. And then after this defis function calls are finished from here, we come back here to the main function. The stack call is returned, we initialize a vector, a dummy vector, to store the coordinates exactly, and then we check which values are set and where both the values from the Pacific and the Atlantic are set. That means both the cells are reachable. For those coordinates, we push it into our answer and then return the answer. So that is the entire code walkthrough of it. I hope you like the video, and I hope you like the code. And for any suggestions, you can put them in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel if you and like the video, and I'll be coming back with more such videos and more such codes regularly from now on. Thank you.